Usual drill. Are we live? Are we live? It's the usual shit, like, no clue. No clue.
With ScribeHow.com, you can.
Well, maybe. Let's see. Okay, what have I got? Not off to a good start here. We pitched. Are we black? That's good. That's very good. Why is the webcam not working? I don't know. I don't know. I think we're live. Six are watching. So if you are watching this, special. It's incredibly hard here. You need to help me out. Can you can hear you? But like the screen's black. Yeah. I've got YouTube on, so I can see that the screen's black. It all looks fine in the software. So I'm using OBS software. I need the screen. I need the screen to work. So why is it froze? I wonder if I do something here. Is that better? No. Is that better? I don't know. No, it's not making a difference. Bear with me, guys. Teething problems, as always. We're 2 minutes in, so this is going well. I wonder if I... Is that better? Are we back? Are we back? Oh! 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 Okay, I think we're working now. There he is. You're on split screen. It seems to be a real lag in it, which makes no sense. Bear with me. I really need to watch a few videos about how to do this. Okay, you can see me now anyway. Yeah, that's real. You definitely can see me. Okay. Let me see. Am I on? It looks to be frozen on YouTube. Pick a view is frozen. Yeah. Why is it frozen though? Right. This mightn't work again, guys, because I kind of need to be unfrozen. The pick a view is frozen. Well, if it's frozen, I might as well drink a bit of this beer. Oh, there. Right. Is this... Oh. I don't understand, boys and girls. I'm sorry. I'm trying, but I can't. It's not changing anything. Feed code transaction. Audio input. Special. That is special. Right, folks. Can't do anything with this. Like, no idea. Like I said, I got a new laptop, and I've obviously not got the settings correct. I thought I copied them across from my other laptop, but clearly not. So what I've got here, let's see. Jesus. 7 people are watching this. Like, it's just a train track. It's just a car crash. An absolute car crash. There must be some sort of settings. Maybe resolution's too high or something. Should be able to cope with it, like, but auto select. Fuck knows. Buffering, auto detect. Oh, I can see myself on the full screen. You're on, right? Right. Anyway, I'm assuming this is working now. I'm just going to ignore myself on the screen because that's delayed for some bizarre reason. So if I do the transition, it should switch to the split screen. We'll want to see the split screen. The split screen's more important than looking at me because I want to talk about a few articles here that I've got and stuff. But yous aren't seeing the fucking split screen, like, so absolute effort. Yeah. Right. The split screen's on, I think. So you can see my background stuff, right? I'm just going to crack on because I think this is working. I think you can hear. I think you can see. It's just a real delay for some bizarre reason. So let me see. Right. Today's share price then, 7.43 following yesterday's dump that came, which was about 10%. Just confirm you've heard all that. I just finished saying 10%. Yeah, it looks to be working, doesn't it? Sweet. Okay. First things first then. We had an RNS. A very positive RNS, I felt. We talked about it in the Discord. A lot of guys talking about it yesterday. I was very busy. I only caught up yesterday evening at about this time, believe it or not. I've seen a lot of stuff, seen the share price sinking off, but I was never selling anyway. But when I read the RNS, I was actually happy. So maybe that's why I thought it was better than what it was, because all day I was going, Jesus, we're down 10%. Things were terrible. It must be bad. But the guys, said good things in the Discord. And then when I read it myself, I thought the exact same thing. I thought that, we're still not at delivery, and you can look at that at a high level from that point of view. But if you actually get into the details of it, I thought that we're making good progress, and it feels like we're going to get delivery, dare I say it, this month. Maybe not this week, but next week. Comment what your thoughts are. I personally think that we could get there next week. It definitely felt like that. Now, I know, where's my notes? I made some notes for this to talk about. So I was going to read what Georgie Boy said. But some of you may have already read it, but I'm sure most of you have probably already read it. Let's see here. So what was his comments? Where was his comments? Thanks to the support of the company, George Roach, plant components and innovation and dedication from our team at Zulus, we are able to run the flotation circuit continuously and produce sellable spodumene concentrate. So is that like not the greatest opening line that we've probably heard from George in any of these RNSs in the last, well over 6, 7, 8 months probably? I just read that and I was like, why do we sell off 10%? We'll dig a bit deeper then. There is so much to be encouraged by, notably the use of an activator in the spodumene flotation plant, and that has seen recoveries in internal laboratory work approaching 90%, and the indications are that the ore body in situ grade is higher than what was estimated in our resource model. Loving the second paragraph. Is everything, again, I'm scratching my head at this stage going, and we're down on 10% on the day. The overall plant is continually running and feed rate to spodumene flotation. That is approximately 50% of the original flotation design capacity, and will need a further conditioning tank and minor pump upgrades. So that's maybe where they're going, we're still upgrading this plant. We're still trying to get this plant to work to full capacity. So it's scaling this up. We've got it working now. We're turning out, I think our minimum is 1,000 tons or something. So the next bit here, if we scroll down, well, firstly, let's finish this. This is over and above the recently completed flow changes. The required pumps are already at site. So that's good. They've got the stuff. They just need to put it to work together. There's talking about civil work here. The additional civils for the conditioning tank should be completed in May 2024. So that is good. That's a matter of weeks. And then what are we going to be at? Full production. Target production for the coming weeks is expected to start at 50 tons spodumene concentrate per day, which is just incredible. There's the target projection capacity remains of 4,000 per ton, but did I not read, was it not 1,000? Well, it doesn't matter anyway. 50 tons is fantastic per day. 50 tons per day is just wow. Like that's going to be so much, and that's it just working. Like that's not even at full capacity, so that's crazy. Target project capacity means 4,000 tons per month. Grade is consistently improving with continuous running, and the latest internal chemical analysis of spodumene concentrate produced by the flotation circuit indicates grades have now improved to be between 4.5 and 6.3. Now, did we not hear about the sort of 6% in the last, well, a lot, but especially in like the last RNS or the one before that? So I kind of feel like we're getting regurgitated information, not to be, negative, but have we not kind of already heard that before? But listen, at the end of the day, there's people look at this with fresh eyes all the different time, and I suppose you do want to reiterate the same things. It's like any company, any CEO, they're going to talk about the good stuff, and that is obviously a very, very good thing to be pointing out to potential new shareholders. So fair play to you, George. So 4,000 per ton is the target. We're not there yet. 50 tons per day would be just like unbelievable to consider that we're actually going to be producing 50 tons a day. You'll take that all day, but at the same time, 50 tons, if we're assuming 30 days in a month, we're still considerably short. That's about 1,500. So we're not at our goal yet, but that's okay if we can get that. Now the big, I suppose, might be, and this goes on. You can read about all that yourself. I'm not gonna read it. I'm sure you've read all about it anyway. But it's more. I just want to make sure it's still working. I just want to be sure that that's why it is working. What about getting this ramped up? Like, we've got the things on site, but I feel like we've been trying to get to this point for a long time. I mean, it was about a month ago we were able to put the stuff in the machine by hand and produce and stuff. So we've kind of been producing in a way for a bit, but it's definitely taken baby steps, a lot of baby steps to get to this point. But it feels like we're going in the right direction. And I've said it, obviously I've been very bearish, mostly because the news has been bloody awful for the last 6-8 months. But we've repeatedly said, if you hold long on this, you will be handsomely rewarded. And anyone that bought the dip yesterday did well to buy the dip. I didn't see it, but I wouldn't have bought anyway. I'm content with where I'm at. But if I could have seen it, and I was buying, yesterday was a golden opportunity. From the lows to the highs, you're comfortably up 10%, thereabouts, which is just a lovely gain. But that was a great buying opportunity. I don't really understand why it sold off. Yes, we're not quite there yet, and still risks, I suppose. And I think we've talked about it in the channel. I feel that the market's just fed up with it. I think everyone that's invested in it is in it. They're maybe buying and nibbling and buying bits here or there, fair enough, but they're generally just in. They're holding. They're not. They're just waiting now. They know that production needs to come. I think we'll get a pump. I don't think we'll get this mental pump that people are maybe hoping for, around 1p or 0.8. I think that would be very optimistic to expect that maybe 3, 4, 5 months down the road, when you're maybe ramped it up to the 4,000 and things are really going well. Definitely. But in the initial period, I think just to manage people's expectations, if you were able to get it up to, again, this 0.4 or higher, but kind of this range, and we'll pull up the charts here and have a look at it. Actually, no, we won't. What we're going to do is we're going to jump to this. Now, John shared this in the group. This probably fucking won't work, like, excuse my French, but we've had technical problems for about the first 4 minutes of this. But what I'm going to do, I hadn't watched this, and this was why I did on the live stream, because I was going to watch this video. Then I thought, I'll just do it as a watch along. So anyone that's watched this, apologies for the next few minutes, but I will stop throughout it, and we'll maybe talk about certain things. I haven't watched the Stockbox interview. I skimmed through parts of it. I don't really know my thoughts on Stockbox, but Proactive, bit similar. Proactive been around for a lot longer. You know, if you go back even 10 years ago or whatever and watch Prem's videos then with George, slightly more less grey, a bit more young, but still the same George, still the smoke and mirrors magician that he is, and he would have done all his videos on the Proactive site. So I do like Proactive. I've covered different stocks, and I've always found them to be quite reliable anyway. So yeah, let's watch it. Actually, tell me as if you can hear it, because if you can't hear it, watching me crack jokes maybe or comment on something that you can't see what I'm talking about, that would be shit.
Hello, you're watching Proactive London. Joining me all the way from Ferrari this morning is George Roach. He's the Chief Executive of Premier African Minerals. George, very good to speak with you again.
And to you as well. Thank you very much.
So, George, you often updates on your Zulu lithium plant in Zimbabwe, the flotation circuit running continuously, producing saleable spodumene concentrate. So,
he's chuffed.
Yes, I think it is. It's been a while coming, but we're there.
So, what's the next steps? Because you still have some.
Does George look a bit like he's aged a hell of a lot since the last time I seen him? He does look fucking. He looks tired, doesn't he? God love him. Like, you know, he does look tired.
Processes to complete.
Yes, I do. Look, there's a fair amount of work to be done in fully optimizing the circuit and bringing it to the original target design throughput. And we've identified along the way quite a few different issues that we've dealt with. We've recently upgraded some of the plumbing and rerouted some of the flows and so on. And we have a further little bit of modification to do.
All right, D, I see you're saying June. Thinking June. But much higher possibility could be this month. Fingers crossed. Well, listen, set your stall out for June. Hope for the best. Expect the worst. Why not? Whatever happened to that stock ABML? Oh, well, don't you worry about ABML. I need to get back to ABML. I'm still balls deep in not balls deep in ABML of about 1,700-1,800 quid. There's a hell of a video to do on ABML, but I'm just balls deep in a lot of different things. I'm moving house. I will get round to it. I might even do a live stream. This is nearly the easiest way to do things. Let me see. Once I get better at doing it, obviously. That's a man under pressure. It's a bit low. I'll turn the volume up there. Is it any better?
To introduce more scrubbing energy into the spodumene crystals prior to flotation. Our lab test work and the use of a reagent has indicated that this is the right way to go. For example, recoveries of spodumene in the flotation plant at the moment are probably somewhere in the region of 35 to 40% of the spodumene, but our lab using higher energy scrubbing prior to the use of the additional reagent is giving us 80 to 90% return. So that's where we'll be taking the plant to. The other thing is that we're running at about 50% of the throughput capacity. So overall, the target of 50 tonne a day right now for this week that we are hoping to increase very quickly and very steadily is representative of probably 25-30% of what we expect to see in the coming weeks from this plant.
Because the target is actually 4,000 tonnes a month, George. So when would you expect to reach that?
Well, I don't want to put a definitive peg into a future date, but I can really only just clarify it by saying that we've identified what to do and how to get there. And over the coming weeks, we'll be working very hard to get to that point, to get precisely to that point.
George, you mentioned that recoveries in your internal lab work were approaching 90%. So that is higher than in your resource model. So positive news there.
Oh, indeed. Look, that's very positive news.
It's thoughts on the date. People may look at that negatively, but to be honest, George has been very poor, obviously, with his dates. So I'm okay with that because I think we can all speculate. There's D saying June, maybe the end of May. You would rather have these sort of. It's nothing worse than a definitive date. Once you have a definitive date, if it doesn't happen, big questions, might sell off. is it, you know, you failed, you've missed your deadline. Where if you're kind of a bit more wishy-washy, it allows you to give a bit of scope. I mean, he can't take the piss. We can't be sitting here in a year's time going, well, he never set a date, within reason, but you know what I'm saying.
It's a higher recovery on spodumene than we had originally anticipated, and a little higher than the original test work that was done. So I think it's great news. And I think the most significant thing about the use of this particular activator is that this is entirely internally generated. Our own staff at Zulu working in our laboratories have come up with a lot of what we are doing at the moment to improve this.
And it means
just shits all over Star constantly. Like, it's as if, like, fuck, we've had to come in, get this sorted. We internally have got this sorted, and everything that's happening now is only because of us. That's not technically fully true, Georgie. Bit harsh, but fair enough.
Sam, you're working on other processes, George. I believe you're in Harare to get export permits.
Indeed, I am, and I think that's quite an exciting phase as well. To actually be sitting down and saying, "Hey, I want an export permit. I want it now." So yes, so that's really why I'm here in Harare for that and a few other issues as well.
And when would you expect to get to the stage where you're using those export permits, George?
See what I mean? They're good questions. Like, he's hitting the nail right between the head. Good questions.
Again, I don't want to put a definitive pin into the future, but I'm hoping to get the various processes, which include analysis and inspection and so on and so forth, for first shipments done in literally the coming weeks.
So in the meantime, what's the
coming weeks? You know, 9th of May. Was this yesterday's video? This came out today. Yeah, you know, the coming weeks. I know you're saying, yeah, sounds promising. The latest Stopbox interview is yeah. Look, I'm sure you've watched. I think I came out yesterday. I'm not going to do a watch along of that. It's fucking drying off this one without doing another one, but I'm sure he's saying the same things on the Stopbox interview. If anyone's watched both, maybe they can sort of point out if there's any differences, but I'm sure he's saying the same thing. Doesn't want to commit to a date, doesn't seem to make mistakes that he's made before. He's trying to reassure us with more vague, but I like that. I prefer that. I think that's the best way. You can think about many different stocks, even the great Elon Musk with Tesla. If you think about him 3 years ago, he always set deadlines. I'm going to do it by this date, and I'm going to do it by that. Then he became known as the guy that can never deliver and always made, and you know, it just became a bit of a stigma to him, and now he doesn't do that no more, and it's just so much better. It's all good trying to set targets and goals and to be that way, but I think there's a reason why financials are done quarterly, and you sort of, nothing happens quick, especially in construction. And the more I understand about businesses, the more I understand that nothing happens overnight. And I've done so much investing over the last 5-6 years in different companies that, you know, I remember thinking COVID's the best example. The airlines tanked hard. So to me, I was like, well, it just makes sense to go balls deep in airlines. But I went balls deep in airlines like the day or two after, or the week after they just sunk. And, you know, the thought process, I'll dollar cost average in and ride it out. I think it took like 2 years for them to recover. So nothing happens quick. When they implement something, it just takes so long for it all to come, through the whole company. Generally speaking, when you're hearing these things, in my experience, it's near enough. It's not something that's been kept under wraps for a long time. It's usually you're hearing it for the first sort of time that's really been spoken about, and then it all has to be implemented. And I know that's obviously talking about huge, big companies, but the idea is you're better off keeping things a bit more vague, maybe working quarter to quarter, and having that bar there. And I do prefer that. I think that's just better CEO management, and maybe lacks a bit of George's, even though he's, you know, well into his prem tenure. I still think at this scale, it's probably something that he's not really experienced before. So that's good. I mean, you know, he's learning there, maybe just to be a bit more cautious.
Focus for the company, George?
Well, the focus for the company at the moment is in dealing with those issues that I've identified in my RNS. There's a bit of all sorting work still being done on the front end, although we manage our way around it. There's a more permanent solution to the milling and sizing section of the circuit, although it's working, but we're optimizing that. And then there's the ability to add this additional energy into the scrubbing of the material that's going to go into the flotation side. So all of that's ongoing. Some of it's happening right now as I speak. And that really is the focus. We want to be at or above our original design projection tonnage as soon as possible.
Well, George, I hope you'll keep us posted on any progress. Thank you very much for the update today.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
George Roach is the Chief Executive of Premier African Minerals.
Hi, George. What an absolute man. Some man for one man. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. So let me see what you can see on the screen here. I'm going to look at the charts now. We'll have a bit of a look at that. Because that's really what matters. It's the charts. Let's see. There's a lot of guff on this. Let's see if I can get rid of some of these lines, make it a bit more appealing. Okay, well, first off, at a high level, we'll look at this falling wedge. Let's see. There. Is that lovely and neat now? Okay. Well, anyway, thoughts on that? Yeah, just like the RNS, really. We're a lot more closer to where we were. We're not so much. Would you say we're not in we're delayed in terms of meeting our product, you know, our agreement. We're definitely delayed from that point of view, but I would kind of say we're kind of in production now. We're kind of stuck the toe in the water a wee bit, or we're not. It's about scaling this up now at a high level. That's kind of what I see. We've had a horrible, you know, trailing 12 months. You know, they will look at the charts in a moment from that point of view. We're not close to doing our 4,000 per ton agreement, but I think considering there's been nearly a year of delay, I think if we're producing something for CanMax, they're going to be happy days. And that will give us a bit of time and takes the pressure off a bit, shows that we can at least do it, and it's just about scaling it up. So I think it was good. The plant is going to go to 50 tons per day. They may have even done that today or tomorrow, the next week, I would imagine. So that's going to satisfy those sort of minimum targets for sure. So there's obviously the legacy issues as well that we need to have a think about. This ore in the mill. I mean, I don't know the technical stuff. Like, I don't really understand why it's taking so long. I'm not going to be negative about it. Use no more thoughts on it. Yes, construction has delays. They've definitely hired the wrong people. They've made mistakes. They did the force majeure. I really hope that all of that is behind us and we are internally now dealing with this. You know, if you look at from where Stark were given the boot, let's say, and where we've come now, it feels like we've made good enough progress, but I don't know, we don't really know fully how much work has actually been done on Starks. I mean, the start of that interview, George definitely sounded like as if they've had to nearly rip up everything and restart, and they've got this across the line. Don't think that would be the case at all, but it seems like they've done a lot of good work, which is encouraging. So hopefully give them another month, they can fairly ramp this up. So yeah, we would have hoped that to be rectified, but it is what it is. But yeah, I was said in the Discord yesterday, I was surprised by the dump and I fully expected it to rebound, and that's what's happened today. Now, we did have this falling wedge that was playing out. A falling wedge, for those that don't know, generally speaking, once it breaks out of a falling wedge, this is usually a target. Now, this is all AI sort of software that I pay for that has this, and if you look back at the history, it played out here, the green ones show you that it hit the target. This one never played out, but we were doing well, and I think there was, I can't remember what the news was, but whatever it was, sunk the thing anyway. This one still potentially could play out. It does have a far better hit ratio when you are above the 200-day moving average. When you're in a bull run, bullish things tend to happen more often. In bear run, they don't play out as well. So take all that with a pinch of salt, but we'll turn that off anyway. That's just like a little built-in software. This is my my favorite indicators, and you know, the people that are in the course will know what we're looking at. We do have this buy and sell symbol. Again, you take this with a pinch of salt. This is an AIM stock, guys, we're talking about here. Highly volatile, highly risky. it doesn't quite play out as well as it would with, you know, any Nasdaq stock or S&P, for example. We're below all our averages. We're struggling to get above the 7-day average, so pretty brutal. The only thing is, I don't really know why this is a red candle today, considering, you know, it was we definitely finished up, didn't we? Did I not? Start of this video, I was pretty much sure we were up about 8%. I didn't make that up, did I? No, yeah. So again, TradingView, one of the best software platforms out there, hasn't quite got this right. So it's difficult to view. Like I said, I wouldn't trade Prem from that point of view. It's just too difficult, as most people know, with trying to buy it, just even on EM stocks. But if we look at, this is the RSI. So if you scroll out, this is this is where you would kind of be selling. We're pretty much at the lows. The RSI is saying this is massively oversold. And if we look at the MACD, scroll out, starting to cross over. We actually have crossed over. So now this is back in 22nd of April. So a few weeks back, we kind of crossed over. And we've been ticking along nicely. Bit of volume coming in. That's encouraging. And you can see that reflective here, you know, quite encouraging. Probably from the lows to the highs, you know, 20%, very encouraging. For whatever bizarre reason, then the news yesterday sold off, but we've recovered. But if we actually scroll this out, the stock really hasn't done much in a long time. I know it looks like it maybe has, but if you kind of go back to, what's it here, like June, you really kind of are looking back at the year. And where are we now? Yeah, I mean, I know we're brutally down, but that's not a lot for an EM stock when you consider the heights that this once was. We've kind of done very little for a long period of time, especially if you go back. I know we're down to this level, but we were at these levels in November, which is mental, sort of 8-9 months ago. Just kind of went sideways. Mad swings, and there's been people making a clean fortune swing trading Prem. Buy the dips every time over this last 8 months. You've been handsomely rewarded. The problem is, most of us have been in it a long time, and we were buying dips here, and then you just realize you were catching a falling dagger. So there is that risk. But right now, and I said it in the last video, if I wasn't in Prem and I've been looking at it and I understand the resource and I understand what they're trying to do and I understand the risks, what a time to be alive. I would be honestly going balls deep in paper money, and I'd be buying Prem, because I think there's going to be some fun coming up here in the next period. Every time we've kind of got down, let's just see if we can do a bit of, we'll look at it in the weekly chart for a change. Let's see. Now we've struggled to get above this 200-day moving average. We fell below it in November. We haven't been able to get above, so that's going to be a target. Again, where's the target bring you? Probably around that 0.35 on the weekly chart. On the day chart, where's it bringing you? 0.3 odd. So we should break above, and I think that's what will happen. I think the news will push the momentum up. We'll get above our averages. We'll get above the 200-day moving average. We're going to break above this sort of level of resistance here. Let me see, draw a horizontal line. Say about there. Which is sort of in the halfway house of these levels. Like everywhere I'm looking at, I'm going, I could see it running to 0.34. I definitely could. I think we get the good news. We're starting to get paid. The shipments are going out. People are happy with the grading, all of that. Maybe not fully ramped up to the 4,000. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying let's just get it all signed, sealed, delivered. Get the lorries going out. Get that conveyor belt of in, out, just happening round and round. Get that done a few good times. And I think you could see this shooting up to about the 0.4. And when you consider we're at 0.8.5, 0.19 at the time of closing, you're going to double your money here. And yeah, of course there's risks. Of course it could all be another letdown, as it's been. But I've said it before, there's only so many times you can be let down. There's only so many times that you can try and fix something before you eventually do get it fixed. It has to happen. I just think it has to happen. I think George is too long in the tooth to to be fucking about with this shit still. You think he's made his money, he's done his dirty dealings. He's in this because he actually genuinely wants to deliver this. He wants to make it a success. And when you've got a man, whatever you think about him and how he could have managed things to the side, at his age, to be this hungry, clearly shows that yes, he wants to make himself money, undoubtedly, but there's a pride thing there. I mean, he's been balls deep in Prem for over a decade. He has dedicated so much time into this project, into all the different projects that they've had, and no matter what you think about it, it's his name on it. And I think if he's thinking about maybe time for me to retire or step down, wouldn't it be nice to end on a high? Look at Warren Buffett just the other day. He sold his 13% of his Apple stock. He's going, my best mate's just died, Charlie Munger. I'm like 97 or something myself. My time's coming. Apple was a fantastic pick. We closed it out now. The legacy's kind of coming to an end, forward to the future. That's just usually what people do. It's just usually what happens. It's usually what happens. People usually try to leave things better than what they found it. And I think George, at his core, probably is got that sentiment too. So fingers crossed. That was a long live stream. Apologies for the start. The difficulties that we had getting it going, but we've got it going. There's Rags. Hello. Let's see if some questions here. Yeah, that could mean months. Yeah. It could be months, but I think it won't be. I just got this gut feeling. It would be nice for it not to go into a year delay. That would be fantastic if we can get it done. I just think it will. I think look, I'm not saying that, and I'm not putting myself out there, but look, appreciate just tuning in. I will get better at these live streams. I would love to get into the routine of doing like these 3-4 times a week, cover different stocks, get a better format going. I'll get more comfortable with it. But thank you for the sort of 20 odd people that tuned in there throughout it. Enjoyed that. Take care. I'm away to get another beer. Stay safe. And I always say goodbye, and then it takes me about 5 minutes to log off, so this will be awkward as well probably. No, it won't be, because I can exit. Peace. No, see,